Gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Everybody gon' vote. Comrade! Labor right, them a go down, bong. Them a go down, bong. Them a go down. Is that? Margie, him a God picking. No hope their work if you touch Margie. Margie, him a God picking. No hope their work if you touch Margie. We now vote for Labour. Orange we a come out in now. If you love the PNP, who no step out for Marky G. Jamaica just come along with we. People time come, people time come, people time is up.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I say that we are pledge of allegiance.
Who's gonna run this town tonight?
Yeah, I say that we
We gonna run this town.
Make the trumpets play. Make the trumpets play.
Following is a release from the People's National Party Media Unit.
The PNP Patriots expressed deep concern over the recent anti-democratic and dictatorship rhetoric coming from the Prime Minister and senior members of the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, which threatens the foundations of Jamaica's democracy. We recognize this ongoing sentiment as the current administration is embroiled in numerous corruption scandals. Whenever they are confronted about these issues, they resort to making undemocratic statements to intimidate concerned Jamaicans. The Prime Minister's declaration that his government does not need any opposition party is a dangerous and dictatorial statement that seeks to undermine this essential role of checks and balance in a democratic society. Such rhetoric is not only an affront to the principles of democracy, but also fits a disturbing pattern of attempts to silence criticism and evade accountability. Equally alarming are the comments made by JLP Deputy Leader Desmond McKenzie, who boldly proclaimed that the JLP will never surrender Jamaica to the People's National Party, as if Jamaica is a possession to be controlled rather than a nation to be governed with respect for all its citizens. This arrogant and divisive language suggests a sense of ownership over the country that is incompatible with democratic governance. We view these statements not as political posturing, but as a direct threat to Jamaica's democracy. History has shown us around the world that when leaders dismiss opposition, suppress dissent, and speak of governing without accountability, it is a precursor to the erosion of freedom. The PNP Patriots call on all well-thinking Jamaicans to reject this authoritarian rhetoric and recognize the danger of entrusting an already power-hungry administration with a third term. Democracy strives on debate, transparency, and the people's right to hold their leaders accountable. Any suggestion to the contrary must be met with fierce resistance. We urge civil society, the media, and all defenders of democracy to sound the alarm on these alarming statements before they translate into further actions that weakens Jamaica's democratic institution. The PNP Patriots stands firm in defense of Jamaica's democracy and will continue to resist any attempts to silence the people's voice. We call on the JLP leadership to retract these statements and reaffirm their commitment to democratic principles. Anything less is unacceptable. Jamaica belongs to the people.
Councillor Waynette, Strawn Nelson. I know the Strawn, I wasn't so familiar with the Nelson. She's doing so well though as our master of ceremonies. Yeah, man. Definitely taking it to another level. My colleagues on the platform, ladies and gentlemen, comrades all. It's indeed a pleasure for us to host our fourth in this series of town halls in which we manifest our commitment to the principle of participatory democracy. We value the input, the dialogue, consultation that a forum like this provides for people who are interested in matters of development and matters affecting our beloved island of Jamaica. We are coming together at a time when there are reasons to think that our democracy is under threat. We see manifestations of the arrogance of power concentrated in those who hold it for its own sake. Remarks like, there's no need for an opposition, coming out of the head of government of the country. The idea that they will never surrender Jamaica to the PNP. A repeated comment, actually, by a senior member of the government, a cabinet minister. And then the institutional attacks that are undermining the fabric, the architecture of accountability that has been constructed since independence and was strengthened under the last People's National Party administration when we developed the Integrity Commission legislation and brought it to Parliament. And we see where there have been efforts over the last 2 years to dismantle it or neuter it, undermine its efficacy and its powers. And in the context of the incomplete investigation of the Prime Minister's own personal financial affairs and the whole question of the potential offense of illicit enrichment, where we have seen the appointment of somebody not qualified and somebody who has clearly manifested bias in favor of the Prime Minister in the very matter which the FID, which he has been appointed now to head, has to investigate, is tasked with investigating. And these are just the latest manifestations of a trend which included things like requiring senators to sign undated letters of resignation in order to have the sword of Damocles over their heads in the event that they didn't choose to follow a particular position that the Prime Minister wanted them to take, where we have seen the appointment of a Chief Justice being put on probation by the head of the executive branch of government, the rushed passage of the NIDS legislation despite major misgivings having been articulated by the opposition as to its compatibility with the rights of privacy and other rights under the Constitution, only to be forced to wheel and come again when we successfully took that matter to court, and the court threw out the entire legislation as being unconstitutional. And then, of course, the serial use of repeated states of emergency in an unprecedented fashion over a period of 6 or 7 years, with over 25 states of emergency declared during that period, again ruled by the Constitutional Court to have been an unconstitutional use of that power and a violation of the Constitution. So what is on the ballot in this upcoming election includes the very democracy, the very freedoms, the very constitutional order that has underpinned our way of life, our politics in this country. And we need to rescue Jamaica from those who are manifesting a capacity and intent to render it asunder. In addition to that, we are committed to strengthening good governance in the country. When he was Prime Minister, but they never pursued it. And it was after that heinous incident of a Member of Parliament caught on video with a stool, a Member of Parliament caught on video with a stool beating up his woman in a car park, his lady in a car park, that I saw the need to bring some mechanism of accountability for that kind of behavior that would bring the office of a parliamentarian into disrepute. And I dusted off Bruce Golding's bill and I made some minor but important modifications, small I should say, but important modifications, and tabled it. And this government, despite it having been a commitment of the Jamaica Labour Party, a manifesto commitment in 2016, they have resolutely blocked it from moving forward. So we see the environment we're in. We see the threats to the democracy that the country is facing. And I use this opportunity again to call on all well-thinking Jamaicans, in particular those who may not be particularly interested in the politics of the country, may not find themselves allied to any political party, may indeed not have ever even voted or haven't voted in a long time. This is your time to come and defend our way of life. This is your time to come and defend our democratic institutions and the freedoms that none of us should take for granted, which are now under threat. I wanted to just touch on a few of our policy and programmatic commitments that we will be pursuing when we form government, which by all accounts will be soon rather than later. Yeah. We have gone through a decade in which, despite a boom in construction fueled by various economic factors, including the reduction of transfer taxes and stamp duties, the cheaper cost of credit, and the liberalizing of the planning laws around development. We saw a boom in the construction of houses in uptown areas, houses which were selling at prices which ordinary Jamaicans on salaries cannot afford. But there has been almost nothing done to construct affordable homes for the many thousands of Jamaicans who need access to affordable housing. And right now, for many young Jamaicans and many Jamaicans who are in salaried positions, but who find themselves part of the working poor or struggling middle class, find themselves excluded from the possibility of owning a home. The People's National Party has always been committed to providing housing solutions for those who would otherwise not have the opportunity to own their own homes. And if you check our record, it's a strong one, from Harbour View to Mona Heights to Hope Pastures to many other schemes, Greater Portmore and many of the other Portmore communities, and of course Operation Pride, providing a mechanism for the regularization and the bringing of dignity to informal settlements, providing them with infrastructure, organizing them into community organizations, and putting in the titling mechanisms. Unfortunately, although some 50-odd thousand titles were issued, there are several of those schemes which have not been completed, and this government has shown no inclination to complete them. And we are committed to completing them. We are committed to ensuring that they get their titles and the infrastructure to the extent that it's incomplete. And indeed, we are committed to rolling out solutions for informal settlements to bring them into the ownership category in the country so that they can pass on wealth from one generation to the next and move themselves out of poverty into more dignified living conditions. We're also committed to building 50,000 affordable housing units in the first 5 years of the next PNP government. And we'll be...
Oh, no, go on the first promise. On the things that we are putting back in the office. On the things that we are novice. On the better listen to this. Vote them out, cause them not see we when we hungry. Vote them out from Kingston to country. Vote them out, cause when they win them a go dump way. We have to tell them promptly, people just vote them out, cause them not see we when we hungry. Vote them out from Kingston to country. Vote them out, we have to tell them promptly, cause when they win them a go dump way. Marky G, you know you the people them really want to see a great leader who will talk to we. Put on the boat and go, they go walk to we. Yes, go march to we. Because we have some guy with them on a intention, leading the country in the wrong direction. That's why we come to make we own a selection. This we are gonna do a wedding call the election. Vote them out, cause them not see we when we hungry. Vote them out from Kingston to country. Vote them out, cause when they win them a go dump way. So we are tell them promptly, people just vote them out, cause them not see we when we hungry. Vote them out from Kingston to country. Vote them out, cause when they win them a go dump way. We have to tell them